This is a trade recap for June the 12th, 2012 on the ES Runner and Euro Runner trading systems. Take profits from 1 a.m. through 4 p.m. on the ES Runner and 1 a.m. through 12 p.m. on the Euro Runner with no new trades taken after 12 p.m., no new entries. The profits actually are taken on the entries before 12 p.m. at the close of business at 4 p.m. Going forward, I am going to be instituting a new rule to take trades from 2 o'clock in the morning, not 1 o'clock. 2 o'clock is when the European markets get going. Really, before that, there's not enough activity typically in candles to warrant entries before 2 a.m. We have a losing trade here, but there's been many instances before 2 a.m. where there's more losers than winners before 2 a.m. Trading really gets going about 2 a.m. But right now, we're still using from 1 o'clock going forward. But in the next week it'll be from 2 o'clock going forward, as I'm telling the members in the room to use that time frame to start trading. On currencies, typically 1:30 you can start seeing some entries, but on the ES market things don't get going until about 2. So to be safer, 2 o'clock is a better time to start taking entries. On this trade here, on the ES, we take a first entry here short. It loses 4 ticks. It's taken out here just before a 145 news release. On a medium impact news release, if you're in negative, you take out your position. If you're in positive, you move it to break even to be safe. On a high impact news release, a red, you take out the position whether you're in profit or in negative 1 candle before the news release. Next, this long here at 3:05 in the morning didn't have the necessary 2 ticks above the stop loss line to make it a rookie trading rule for an entry. That's why an R doesn't print here. This is not a long, not a valid long to take. This trade here was a valid short. Entered here, made 6 ticks of profit. The second position was brought to a break-even status as a runner. Got stopped out here. Next one here, long at 4:50 in the morning, was a valid long. 6 ticks of profit made on the first contract from the entry price here. The second contract is brought to break even as a runner, stopped out here. The first valid scalp was taken long here on the open price here of the candle. Unfortunately loses 6 ticks, which is the stop loss for pre-market scalps. Going forward at 7:45, we have a valid short here. The entry price is 13.02 and a quarter. It's 13.02 and a half, excuse me. Entered here. Stop loss for pre-market is 10 ticks. It lost 10 ticks on 2 contracts. This day on the June the 12th was the worst performing day for the ES Runner and Euro Runner. Both of them lost more money this day than they've lost in 7 weeks. It is the worst performing day out of 7 weeks. It is still only one of 5 losing days in 7 weeks, but it is an atrocious day for both systems. This is highly due to the expiration of contracts in the futures market that occurred today, June the 14th. I'm doing this video. And 2 days ago there was an enormous amount of volatility. Not volatility, excuse me, the wrong word. Not volatility actually, range bound market. Volatility days with volatility make extraordinary amount of profits on these systems typically. But range bound days are the toughest for the system, any system to perform well. The ES Runner and Euro Runner have done very well during range bound days before. They just didn't do well on the 12th of June. Going forward here, now we're going into the 9:30 open. We switched to 2-minute candles, 2-minute system. And let it calculate the last 3 days because I've got to go back for 2 days here. Going back to the 12th. 12th at 9:30. Okay. We don't take the markets open from 9:30 to 9:45. We don't take any new entries. We also don't take any entries from 9:15 to 9:30 because it's before the market's going to open. Not enough time to make any profit. So 9:15 to 9:45 we don't take trades. First valid scalp here came up at 10:15. It loses 8 ticks from this entry here to this tick right here. If profits go to the tick and there's not a guaranteed exit and not a guaranteed execution of a limit order, I count those as a loss the same way I do as profits. That keeps things even. Because many times an exit here, a limit order to exit would be executed the same way a limit order to exit on a take profit would be executed. At the touch of the price, not necessarily the penetration of it where you get a guaranteed fill. So this loses 8. This one here loses 8. right there, that one there. This one here is a valid trade. It's cautionary. Cautionary trade has a certain rule to it. This one fits the rule just fine. The entry here makes 8 ticks of profit. The next valid scalp is a 6. I told the people in the room to not take this trade because typically a large scalp number of a 6 is a final push on the part of the market to go push up. Now this, if I remember correctly, on Tuesday hit the daily highs, and it was a big push at the end. I told the room to not take this trade, but I still have to count it as a loss. It loses 3 ticks because it's exited at the first cautionary triangle, which is right there. Moving forward, this is lunchtime. We don't take any trades between 12 and 1. They typically fail between 12 and 1. This trade here in a scalp, in a sprint, which is periods of 20 periods or more on the stop loss line going flat, the first turn up on the stop loss line after 20 periods, is a 8 tick loser. And this one is a 10 tick winner. The rules for a sprint are 20 consecutive periods flat in the first turn up, or 20 consecutive periods with only one turn up in the stop loss line, meaning that you would have, in this case, 10. This is 11 actually. 11 plus, this case is about 14. That's 25 periods. The rules state you can have one turn up in the stop loss line during a period of 20 bars, and then the first turn up you would take a trade, because that's basically one turn up is equivalent to a flat line. It's really almost no activity on the line. And if that takes place with only one turn up after a period of 20 bars or more, it's the same thing as 20 bars with a flat line. That is a trade taken here. Scalp also came in at the same time. The sprints make 10 ticks. Open here to the tick here. If it wasn't guaranteed here, again, I take the profit on the touch because I do on the losses as well. It was guaranteed on this candle here. Later than that, this is past 3:45 in the afternoon. We don't take any new trades. So the profit or the loss for today was 31 ticks on the ES, the worst losing day in 7 weeks. Now for the euro that I'm about to show you, the same thing happened. Tuesday was a horrible day because the contracts again expiring this week. The euro, starting at 1 o'clock in the morning, no entries yet. 2 o'clock, first trade loses 20 ticks on the cross of the white line on the entire position, so it's 20 times 2. We separate the positions into halves. First half makes 20 pips of profit, second half makes a runner. If the entire position loses, it's the number of pips times 2. Here, the entry here, the maximum stop loss on the euro runner is 25 pips. This is 25 pips of loss times 2. This is 17 pips of entry. You exit before the news event on the 4:30 release on the 12th, which was the pound release. So you exit the candle before. It makes 17 pips of profit on 2, or times 2, that is. Here, it's entry here, long, exit at the stop loss line, negative 19 pips times the entire position, which is times 2. Here, a negative 11, entry here, exit 5 minutes before the news event, 8:30 news event on the 12th was the US news release, negative 11 pips on the entire position. Here, a long of 905, negative 25. Here, a short makes 20 pips on the entry. The second half of the position is brought to break even. It's knocked out here at break even. A valid scalp came here on a 3, which fit the rules of what's called an intra-series scalp. Using the SSI, which I'm showing you here on this chart, it's the other set of algorithms which the professional trading firms use. I have been given these algorithms to use from the developer to use in my service, which I feel eternally indebted to have these algorithms on top of what are already a fantastic set of algorithms which have produced 32 out of 37 days of profit. Extraordinary amount of profit in 2 months. These new set of algorithms are a way to front run and get a predictive, even a better predictive analysis on the viability of an entry. Using this for the scalps, we wouldn't have taken this 3. But right now the rules have not been adjusted to incorporate the SSI, which is what's called a signal and strength indicator. Going forward next week we will, but we wanted a full week to review this in the room with everybody. So anyway, this is a 15 pip loser, and then we stopped taking trades at 12 o'clock. So this was 171 pips lost. As I said, Tuesday was the worst day I've ever seen personally in the euro in my 5 months of trading the system. Tuesday was horrible. But that is what happens on losing days. Again, it's only now 5 losing days out of 38, I think it is. I think it's 33 out of 38 days have been profitable. Thank you very much. The video for tomorrow I'm going to do next. It'll be set up here. You can go and see tomorrow's video.